when our men are down, right? When our men are suffering, we're all really suffering, because that affects the fact that Black women of all the races, Black women are the most likely to never be married, right? And when you start looking at all of those factors, it's like, what's happening with our men?
Welcome back to the podcast. I started this podcast as a way to help Black men in all aspects of our lives. Studies show on average we lose 2.8 years of our life when we're under heavy stress. And I think we can gain those 2.8 years back if we express ourselves healthily. Stick with me as I interview therapists, doctors, advocates, activists, and friends about how we can be better as Black men and as a Black community. If you're not subscribed to us on YouTube and following us on Instagram and TikTok, you'll definitely want to do that. Without further ado, let's get into the episode. All right, y'all. I'm here with Zakia and Tasnim. They are the CEO and COO. Well, Zakia is the COO and Tasnim is the CEO of Black Men Heal. If y'all don't know about Black Men Heal, y'all definitely aren't doing your research on the Black mental health space. And I've talked about Black Men Heal a lot. I know you're laughing, Taz, because honestly, when I first started the page, I told y'all this I think we talked last week or the week before that. I was like, yo, I cannot wait to like collaborate with them and do something with them, because what y'all are doing is definitely unprecedented, and y'all are making history in our community. Like y'all are literally making a way for Black men to get free therapy. And not only have y'all haven't, it's one thing to do it like once with like one cohort, but y'all are doing it consistently and y'all are making it happen, right? And from what we've discussed and what we will discuss is y'all didn't start with a lot of resources. Y'all are not, y'all weren't heavily funded. Y'all didn't have like a super investor that pumped the money into y'all when y'all first started. It was really just all grit and grind and just, hustling. So please, let's just get started with how and why did you guys start Black Men Heal? Because that's so important for us to break down.
Sure. So it started in 2018. In addition to being the CEO of Black Men Heal, I'm also a licensed therapist. So just already being in the mental health field, already having like that front row seat of helping people heal their traumas is something I was already very committed to, very passionate about. And in my private practice, I was doing really well in private practice as far as like, financially. But I just felt like, I was not getting enough Black men that were coming in, or when Black men were calling me, I didn't take their insurance because I had, I don't take really many insurances at all. And it's expensive. It's over $100 a session to see a licensed therapist, a really good licensed therapist anyway. And so those things started to really kind of weigh on me. The fact that like, I wasn't really able to service some of my own community, people who I know were calling me just because I look like them, because a lot of people are seeking out therapists that look like them. And so in my process of really becoming more passionate about men coming to therapy, and by being the therapist, like being men's therapist has been transformative for my own life and helped me to really understand and empathize with men more. And I just wanted that experience for all men and all women to witness the possibilities of what could happen when men were really committing to themselves and committing to their healing. So that's kind of how it all started. And I went to some friends of mine in my post-grad program and asked them if they would kind of be willing to donate just an hour a week. We started off with this concept of what if in our really, really busy, hectic schedules, what if we were all willing to just donate an hour a week for 8 weeks to give these men 8 sessions. And that's how it started. Just one therapist, 2 therapists, 3 therapists, 4 therapists, asking everybody to volunteer on a mission. And so that's how it started. And then I'll let Zakia, tell you about how she picked up on the journey.
Yeah. So I was at a panel discussion about how to combine cannabis and depression and how sometimes certain strands of cannabis works well with depression. And one of the other therapists that was on the team of Black Men Heal got up and started talking about it. And it just blew me away. I'm like, I chased her down afterwards, like, oh, I have to be a part of this, because they were talking about, again, it was just so grassroots. They didn't have, people were volunteering, and some of the people that were volunteering didn't have their own offices. I had my own practice in Jenkintown. So when I went to speak to Kavana, she said, oh, we do need, you to volunteer some space. So I offered my space, and then Taz came the next day so I could sign the contract to be a part of it. And so, just so they can come into my space. And I was just so enamored about what was going on. I've always been a lover of Black men. I have a son that's 21 years old. And, so once I talked to Taz, I was all in. I was like calling her, oh, well, what about that? I had like all these ideas. And she was like, well, I'm about to, you might as well just come on the team. And then I did, and the rest is history.
Man, I love how fluid that sounds like it went, because it really reminds me of my friend. Like when I first was starting the page, he was the person that pushed me to start it. Like I tell people that all the time. Like I would have never started Express Yourself Black Man if it wasn't for David. That's his name. David would see me talking about therapy on my personal page. I go on my personal page and just talk about therapy. And then he would DM me like, yo, bro, start a podcast. I'm like, David, leave me alone. Like I'm not starting a podcast, David. I'm not talking about this on a podcast. But eventually, like he just kept on encouraging and supporting. It was really one of those people that at the start of it was like, yo, you could really do something. And so that's what really sparked me starting Express Yourself Black Man, and look what happened. So I think it's so dope that you guys connected on that level and it just became fluid, because oftentimes like we just don't see that enough in our community. Like people are just either envious or insecure or jealous, right? And there's a lot of ego that gets mixed in with these things. So I'm so glad that you guys figured it out and started working together, because now, like, where are you guys at? Because I know, Taz, you talked about how it started. So, like, can you please break it down, like, where you guys are at now, right? And where you want to go as well?
Yeah, I mean, it started when I say a very humble, meek, have nothing, very minuscule beginning. But what we always had from the beginning, even when we didn't have no resources, we had a grand idea and a vision. The vision was big, and the steps, we didn't really have all the steps, but now we've really been building a brand. We're actually just now starting our 10th cohort. Now we have put 10 cohorts of men through these 8 free sessions. We've recruited over 60 therapists. We're located in 8 states. We've expanded our programming. We also now have a virtual, all our services now are virtual ever since pandemic. So the men get the 8 free sessions through telehealth services. But we also expanded programming. We have a program called King's Corner, which is killing it. It's a virtual, shout out to Reg and Douglas Reed. It's a virtual free space for men. It's like a group. We had such a massive amount of men who applied for the free therapy, and such a disproportionately lower number of slots we could fill. We were like, we need something else resource-wise, because the pandemic really shot up people looking for therapy. So we really got slammed. So we started King's Corner just a couple weeks after the pandemic, April 2020. And now every week on Sunday nights at 7 p.m., there is a virtual, the men can sign into the Zoom. We have men, it's over 1,000 men signed up for King's Corner all over the country and beyond. We have men even from the UK and Canada on the calls. Every week there's a topic for the men applicable to their mental health, and the men actually really get to choose the topic. That's been just a beautiful space and a beautiful addition to the men who are going through the 8 free sessions. It's an additional resource. And this year, we're excited because we have some new programming coming. I'm gonna let Zakia tell you about the new programming that's coming actually like now, right?
Yeah. Well, 2 things that Taz didn't mention that we did have going on, which is really important to me because I'm sort of in it, is the therapy program. I'm sorry, what's the acronym?
Therapist recruitment program.
Yeah. So what we do is we even let when we hire pre-licensed therapists that need a certain amount of hours to graduate, we also cultivate them into becoming therapists, and we give them weekly supervisions and let the hours, their hours add up so that they have enough. You have to have a certain amount of hours to graduate. And then it's another amount of hours that you need for licensure. So we provide that and supervision. So like I said, I love that we're cultivating a new era of Black therapists again, because if you compare it to our white counterparts, the percentage is like 4% of therapists, psychologists are Black. But so that's one program that I love. And then the other one that is just really dear to my heart that we haven't even rolled out yet is called Heal with Him. And initially, we started talking about Heal with Him to be a group of women that are going to heal alongside the men that have gone through Black Men Heal. My co-host of that program her name is Lisa. And when she was talking about her husband, who is Red, she's like our number 2. And she just said, he's doing all of this. He's doing, he's going through Black Men Heal. He's getting all this healing. And I'm sitting here, in this space. So it was like, well, we want to, because sometimes when one person starts to heal and the other person is not ready, it could cause conflict, So we initially started it off that way, but it's going to expand to just women in general, like just women being a support for Black Men Heal. So I can't wait to do that. And that's going to be we haven't really decided yet, but we're starting out on the Saturday, and we're going to sign up and get a questionnaire for the women to go see, because a lot of women are mothers, they can't do things sometimes at night. So we're just going to give them the option of what day they want it to be consistently. And we're just like King's Corner, we're going to offer other women to come in and do topics, just related to women as far as healing.
Yeah, that is so dope. That is so dope. I love all the things that you guys have going on. And I think King's Corner is definitely super dope. Like I've done a King's Corner session, and I see how they're like a family, honestly. Like they really are like a family in there. Like when I did the session, I was like, yo, it feels like I'm coming in to like somebody's house, and like these, like it's all the bros in there, and like we just chopping it up, like watching a game or something, and just like talking about life. That's really the vibe that I got. So it's really like a lot of the stuff that y'all doing is really revolutionary work, because this is not stuff that we've seen in our community, right? Like, so the next question is, why men? Because y'all are 2 Black women, right? And I talk about this on the page all the time about how in the Black mental health space, and specifically when it comes to like helping Black men to heal, we have a lot of Black woman-led like organizations. But there's always like this like hostility when I talk about like loving Black women and stuff. Now, I won't say from every Black man, right? But there's a lot of trauma that Black men feel like it's coming from Black women. So I think it's important to talk about how Black Men Heal is being run and led by 2 Black women. So why men initially? Because I know you guys are branching out into women.
My answer to that is that I felt like I was tired. I was getting tired and angry and frustrated of seeing the way in which I just felt like the country was really trying to destroy Black men. Just the concept of like, and destroying Black men means like, it's a ripple down effect of destruction of Black men, women relationships, families. So for me, it was just feeling like, between mass incarceration and, I was really getting devastated by seeing all of these unarmed Black men shot and killed by police, that Black men were just really seen as a threat. And also, I just felt like all of the disparities between Black men and Black women, when it comes to like Black women are surpassing Black men when it comes to education, social economic status, and all these things. But all of those things really affect, like when our men are down, right? When our men are suffering, we're all really suffering, because that affects the fact that Black woman is of all the races, Black women are the most likely to never be married, right? And when you start looking at all of those factors, it's like, what's happening with our men? And I also additionally felt like, as a licensed therapist, you know how you get sick of a problem, right? You keep seeing a problem, and it's like, I was tired. Like, when you get tired, you get, like, that's when action comes in. I was tired of that, and I wanted to do something. I was like, I don't want to keep talking about these same problems. Like, what actually am I capable and able to do that could be serving this issue? And so, also like in my own personal relationships with men, like I had issues with my father, and I felt like, my father was a Vietnam vet, had been in prison, and really loved me. My dad passed away, but really loved me, was a very good man. But like, there was just these challenges, these mental health challenges that really didn't really allow us to have the close, emotionally close, safe haven type of relationship I may have sought out as a woman from her father. And I thought about it like, imagine if like my father or your father, like we're one generation, right? Like if
Mhm.
our fathers or their fathers had therapy, like right now, this
Right.
generation, our children's generation, I think we're changing the trajectory. But
Mhm.
imagine if back when all of this stuff was happening to us, men would have actually been, going through therapy or, so I think that's my answer.
Right.
Zakia?
And mine is similar. I wasn't a therapist at the time when I first started, so it was just I'm a a pseudo like activist. I'm always on the front line. Taz know anytime it's a rally, any city council meetings, I'm there. And so, like Taz said, first of all, I just got tired of seeing the way the world was looking at my men and treating my men. The people who look like me, because again, like I said, I've always had my family always said I was partial to the boys in my family, and I denied it for years, but I am. But it's because people always looked at them as the underdog, and I never did. I'm always, we had talked about what word comes to mind when we talk about Black men. My first word was capable, and it's just like I feel like the way I look at them, we call them kings. We look at them and give them this, put them on this pedestal, so it's like Taz said, my father grew up in and out of jail, all on and off drugs, and he wasn't there for me. So it's like I always thought about, if I had this person, if he had gone through therapy from the stuff that his father did to him, I wouldn't be in this position. So like Taz said, we all consider ourselves collateral damage of men that need to be healed. And I have a 21-year-old son, and I want to show him, that you are loved, what I'm saying? You are strong, you can be vulnerable and still be a man, what I'm saying? So it was just a marriage of the minds when it came to me and Taz. And when I just want to piggyback on what you said earlier about the synergy between her and I, it was like when she came and sat down in my office that day, it was like from that point on, it was like we were best friends. Like my boyfriend,
he left and we were just like close, like we knew forever. Like I'm like,
my boyfriend now, he'd be like, wait, when did you meet Taz again? Because it's just like it was just, and don't get me wrong, we disagree all the time when it comes to Black Men Heal, but the mission is most important. You know what I'm saying? It's like the guy say, oh, there's ain't nobody above the group. Well, it's nobody above Black Men Heal. You know what I'm saying? So that's the core, and we all just work together, even put our ego aside for the sake of the mission of love.
Right. And I think that's beautiful, because again, like I was saying earlier, is like we don't have enough examples of this in our community. A lot of what we see, at least what I used to see, is that black men, Black women, Black people in general don't know how to work together. Right. And as soon as Black people start something, if Black people are involved in it, like it's gonna crumble at some point in time. Right. Because egos get involved, and there's gonna be arguments and drama and all this kind of stuff. So to see y'all leading this organization and being able to bring people in, and the level of complexity that y'all have to deal with when it comes to structure and timing and all these different things, it gives me inspiration, but it also, I think, sends a clear message that we can and will, continue to build our organizations, and it is possible in our community. Because I know a lot of people believe that, like, yo, Black, if you're working with somebody Black, like they're gonna be late, or it's not gonna work out, or all these different things, like all these different stereotypes. So you guys are literally helping us to see, like, yo, these stereotypes that we see about Black businesses, Black people, the Black community is not, it's not real. So I appreciate y'all for just, I appreciate y'all for saying that, honestly.
Let me say something to that. Just to speak on that, because you are so right, as far as like when you remove the ego, right? So many amazing things can happen. And I just have to really give a special like shout out to everybody who helped us build this mission, right? Because, there's been some people who haven't stayed on the train, but one of our criteria, like we developed these guiding operating principles for Black Men Heal. And one of them is humility. Humility is one of them, because this mission is not about any of us individually. All of us individually, when I tell you this team is the bomb, like this team is a very talented, skillful team on their own, right? Everybody does something very powerful, very strong on their own. But we come together and we pour all of those gifts into this pot and make it about Black Men Heal. And so a lot of people didn't really even know that Black Men Heal was run by women, because they don't really see me as Zakia that often, because it's not about us, right? So Black Men Hill was about the men. So if you followed our social pages, we were talking to men, right? And so you didn't need us always in the front of that. And so I think putting ego aside has been a really beautiful thing. And then all of our providers who signed up to see them, and for 2 whole years, they did it for free. We didn't have no money, like they were volunteering. And so if anybody came through Black Men Hill and they had this amazing therapist and telling us how amazing their therapist was, and they were, and they are, they were not getting paid. They was doing it because they believed in this mission, and they have this love and belief in Black men in the same way that we do. And that is just a beautiful thing, and the way in which we've been able to plant the seeds of this and then watch the crop grow in the way that it is, because you have a bunch of selfless people who came together for this mission and didn't make it about one individual.
And I think it's important to add selfless Black people, because we always think like, yo, like, man, Black people don't know how to work together, or Black people are selfish. But like, yo, like I said, man, you guys are literally showing us like we can build great things for our community. We can heal our community. We can build the things that we wish existed. Because like you said, for the longest, you were kind of getting upset about what was going on with Black men in our society. And you were like, you know what? Let me do something about it. Man. Oh man. So please tell me, how can people help? How can people get active? How can people help you guys to build out Black Men Heal? Because obviously what you guys are doing is great.
Well, we always need talented therapists. They can go on and apply to become therapists in their different cities and states. So, eventually we can come to wherever they are, or build up where we are, our current 8 states. But the main thing is definitely funding. Like Taz said, for years, they were doing it with no money. And now we do pay our therapists. We would like to pay them more, but we pay them, and we would like to get more therapists to come in to expand, because our waiting list is ridiculous. People always ask us like, how you get, these men to sign up? And we have no idea. I mean, we, like you just said, we built something for them and they showed up like, oh, wait, this is for me. Yes, it's for you, King. So our waiting list is ridiculous. So we always need more therapists, but the therapists need to get paid, and they get paid by donations and partnerships with corporations.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. And I also want to answer that question about how you get men to sign up. There's a misconception that men don't want to heal.
Yes, it
There's
is.
a big misconception that men don't want to heal. I see it all the time on the page. I get DMs all the time. Hey, bro, how can I get therapy? Yo, bro, I'm going through this. What would you advise me to do? Like, how can I heal? I'm going through this. I don't want to feel this way. What's going on? Bro, men want to heal. So y'all are getting men to sign up because that's what men want to do. Once, like literally for me, when I talk about like therapy and stuff in 2017, like I had my stint with depression. If I had known that there was something that was going to help me with that, like if I had known about Black Men Heal at that time, if that, I would have applied. Yeah. Like, so it's really not that hard to think about. It's like, yo, y'all are creating a resource that exists, that is needed. And so when Black men hear about it, and like, yo, I can go here and get free therapy, why the heck wouldn't I fill out this form? Right. Like, why wouldn't I do it for 15 minutes? Right. So absolutely, man. And can y'all please, man, before we end the episode, give people like the socials and like where they can find more information and like how they can apply and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, well, all of our socials are the same at Black Men Heal on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. They can go to our website, www.blackmenheal.org, and buy some t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirt, our merch, everything any money spent with Black Men Heal. Yes, vulnerable is the new sexy. Anything you spend with Black Men Heal goes towards helping a man in his
100% of the proceeds of our merchandise go right to the sessions. It's right. So that is facts. And you could donate. You could also donate, your tax deductible donations definitely help. So that's also how people can help. Therapists can sign up. And people ask us a lot of questions. Our DMs are crazy. So we get the same questions all the time. I'm actually about to work on this frequently ask questions.
Oh yeah, please.
They ask the same questions all the time. How do you sign up? How do you sign up? And I'm like, go to the website. Go to the website. We're trying to put all the traffic to the website because the need and the volume is just so big. So we love all of our supporters. And so, we're sorry, we have very, very small resources. We all work like 12 hours a day, and that's not even a joke. So we can't always get back to every DM or every question, especially if there are questions that could be answered on the website, but the website will tell you a lot.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. Taz and Zakia, thank you so much. Y'all heard it here. Go on the website, follow them on social media, sign up for the King's Corner session if you can't get into the cohorts, because like I said, that King's Corner session is amazing, man. Like that, those brothers are literally like a family. If you are looking for a network of Black men to help you heal and that are also on their healing journey, definitely go on King's Corner. Thank you guys so much for the episode and for the work that you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Absolutely, no problem. Thank you for taking the time out to listen to this episode. I truly, truly, truly appreciate you. So I really hope you got some valuable insight, and I hope I helped in some capacity, whether it be through the platform or the podcast. If you like to support for free, you can like this video if you're on YouTube, or you can share and subscribe regardless of what platform you're listening to the episode on. If you like to support monetarily, now we're talking, you can go to shop.expressyourselfblackman.com and get yourself some merch. We have a hoodie, we have sweatsuits, we have shirts, we have hats. We also have an ebook on how to heal, where I discuss breakups, depression and suicidal ideations, anxiety, and attachment styles. I go in depth about my story with dealing with all of those things, and then I explain how to heal in an easy guide. It's easy to follow. It's easy to go from reading to implementing. So if you're interested in that as well, it's in the shop. The book is called From Hurting to Healing, A Black Man's Guide to Feeling. So consider supporting monetarily, but regardless of how you support, I appreciate you. I hope you have a great day.
Sometimes I know you feel like you ain't got nobody to speak to. A shoulder to lean on somebody you could preach to. No, you need to hear it, my brother, I love you. We got way too much to live for. We got way too much to live for. When we get it all, we want
like
more.
you lost another one.
When we get it, still we want more. I know it's hard, but you just gotta push on. Tell me for only brody, always tryna bring you. If you ever feeling down, bro, you're never alone. If you ever feeling down, you can always hit my phone. If you ever feeling down, bro, you're never alone. Okay, hey, I'm your shoulder to lean on. Express yourself, de-stress yourself. I don't wanna talk about me, tell me how you feeling well. Since you know that you're alive, but this earth feeling